Hey guys, this is Shane. So today is Friday, May 31st. And what I'm about to do is I'm about to bring you an update on two of the trades that we had went over on this channel so far. All right, so the first one is Alibaba, okay, ticker symbol BABA. So that's the one that I have pulled up on my screen right now, and we are looking at the daily chart. All right, so like we said before, this trade was based on the break and retest strategy. So the price came down into the level, held it as demand, and then we came all the way down. Once we broke the level and retested it, then the demand became supply, and we rejected at the supply. So every time we come back up to the level, we reject from the level. All right. And then once we break back above the level and come back down into the level, now we're holding the level as demand. So you can see price likes to interact with this level. All right. So we're holding the level as demand. And now once the price comes back to the level, then I was looking for the price to hold the level as demand once again. All right. So I'm going to talk about where I exited this trade and why I decided to exit the trade where I did. All right. And hopefully that would be helpful to you so you can understand, some of the different ways that you can go about setting your take profits and your targets. All right. So as you can see, this is where we are right now. Let me just bring this back a little bit. So this is where we were. Actually, this is where we were when we were first looking at this trade. All right, so we were looking for the trade to come down into the level and to hold the level as demand. All right, so we were looking for an entry right here. And then this is what happened. All right, and this is where we were in the last video. You can see we started to get a reaction at the level, and I was looking for a bigger move. But I want to talk about my targets. Where was I looking to exit the trade, and why did I pick that area as my target? All right, so the way how I go about looking for my target, because the approach that I'm doing is more of like an intraday or a short swing. So I'm looking to either get in the same day, exit the trade the same day that I entered the trade. So that would be like an intraday day trade, all right? Or it could be, if I don't get the move I'm looking for within the same day, then it could be like a short swing. So maybe I could swing it overnight or for 2 or 3 days, but I'm not really looking to hold it for like 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, I'm not looking to be in the trade for too long. All right, so basically, I would be targeting the lowest hanging fruits. All right. So in this case, what I'm looking at is the lows from the previous days. All right. So let me show you what I mean. You can see the price is coming down here. All right. And then we pivoted up. All right. And came back down into the level. So basically, right at the pivot point, this is where the lows would be. So let me just bring this over so you can see it. So this would be the previous low, the low from the previous day. All right, so, or the previous few days. All right, this would be like the low from the last 3 days. You can see there's like a swing low from the last 3 days that created a pivot point. And that is where I was targeting for my exit. So just so you can see it clearly, this is where my target would be. All right. So I'm looking for the price to move up into this level, and that's where I would take my exit. So just to chart it out for you, we're talking about somewhere around this area. All right. So you can see it's the low of the previous days. This is the last 3 days or so that formed a swing low. So just to play this forward, let's see what happened. You can see the price came up into that level. All right. And this is where we are right now. So we came up into the level and rejected from the level. So that was actually a very good exit. All right. So it rejected from the previous lows. So that's one way how, if you're trying to aim for the lowest hanging fruits. If you're not trying to be in the trade for too long, that can be a great way to decide what you're going to target. All right. And where you're going to take your profits. Just to look at this a little bit more so you can see what's really going on here. Let's say we drop down to our 4-hour chart. All right. Let's see what's really going on here. Why did the price reject at this level? If you take a look at the level, you can see the price came down into it, and we had it held the level, and it came down into it and held the level again. So this level is providing support to the price, right? And then finally, we broke the level. So once we go back up into the level, this support is now going to turn into resistance. So that's what happened. The price was supporting, this level was supporting the price here. And then once we go back up into the level, then this support becomes resistance, or you can call this demand. All right. This level is acting as demand. Once we broke it, price goes back up into the level. Now it becomes supply, and that is why we rejected from the level. So as you can see, we're just trading right now between the supply and the demand. All right. Price is just between supply and demand. So what I did is I entered the trade and I targeted the next supply area. All right. So that's all I did. I traded from the demand all the way up to the next supply area. And that's what I called the lowest hanging fruit, because that was the closest supply to where I entered the trade. And you can see that was a perfect exit. So just so you can see this a little bit better, let's go down to the 1-hour chart right here. All right. And you can see we have these lows right here. Again, price came down into it. It's holding it as support or demand. All right. Now, once we lost the level, then when we came back up into the level, then it became resistance or supply. And so we rejected from the level. So my trade was from here to here. So my trade, I was simply trading from supply to demand. And that was my trade. So just so we can get a better look at it, let's say we go down to the 5-minute. All right, 5-minute chart right here. So you can see the entry to the trade was here. All right. This is where the entry would have been. And we're just waiting for the price to go up to the supply area. So we entered here, chopped around a little bit, made it move all the way up, and we entered into supply. And this is where I exited the trade. And you can see once we get up into the supply area, then it just gapped down. All right. So that's one approach to deciding where you want to exit your trades. All right. So also, if you recall, I also talked about the fact that my preferred time to enter the trade would have been on the first retest right here. That's when I would have preferred to enter the trade had I seen this setup then. All right. So you can see we had a very good response here, or a very good reaction here, a very strong reaction. Even the second test of the level, right? You can see we had a very strong reaction. And then now we're testing the level for the third time. All right. So price went up to supply and came down, but we're still holding the level. All right. So if I should bring up the 100 EMA, you can see that is what is actually holding the price up right now. So we have not lost the level. We're still holding the level. So even now, the price you could still see a move up. All right. We could still see a bigger move up, but I've already exited the trade, so I'm no longer in this trade. All right. So let's take a look at Exxon. That's Exxon Mobil. That's the other trade that we also covered. And let's see where we are with that one. All right. So you can see this is where we are. So we're looking good. All right. So you can see this was a similar idea, right? So you can see we had a level here that acted as resistance, or you could say supply. So if you look right here, this would have been resistance, or supply. And then once we came back up into the level, we broke above it. And once we retested it, it became demand or support. All right, so that's resistance become support. And then we had a nice move up. And we saw we were flagging our way back into this demand. All right. And then we saw we had the confluence of the 100 EMA right here. All right, so this moving average was in the same spot, right where the demand level was. And that gave me great confidence that this might be a good buy. So as you can see, the price came down into the level. We had a move up, then the price came back down, and now we have even a stronger move. All right, so let's talk about where we could, different areas that we could use to exit this trade. All right, so what are the different areas we can use for our take profit areas? So similarly, right, if you look, you can see that price came down and pivoted up here and then came down into the level. So we have something like this. So you have to, if you look real closely, you can see that there's a pivot here. All right. So if you're going for the lowest hanging fruits, like I was in the previous example, then this is where your exit would have been. All right. So price came down and your first target could have been right where this level was. Let's take a look at this on a lower time frame. Let's say we go to the 1 hour time frame. So you can see this level was acting as supply. All right, so price came down into the level, provided support. Then once we broke the level, then now it turned into supply or resistance. All right, so we had support here, we broke, we lost the level, and then we came back up into it and it became resistance. So price was just trading between this support and resistance area, or you can say supply and demand. So the first exit could have been once price went back up into the supply area, that could have been the first exit, or that could be an area where you trim your position. All right, so now that the price has broken above this supply area, now we can have a bigger move up. All right, so in the previous example, we saw that the price came up, rejected from the level. We were down here. But in this example, the price initially rejected from the supply area, but now it's broken above it. All right, so now we can target this trend line all the way at the top. All right, so that could be a possible target. So what you could do is you could trim your positions here. This is where you could take some of your trims, and then you can target the trend line at the top. All right, another thing you can do is if we have a weak retracement back into this level, then this could be where you can add to your position, or this is where you can actually enter a trade and then look for a bigger move up. All right, so let me go over that one more time. So price came down to the level, held it as demand, broke down through the level, it became supply. All right, rejected from the level. So now we broke above the level. All right, so if we came back down to the level, now we can look for the level to hold as demand once again. All right, so what we would be looking for is for a weak retest. So if the price is coming down, not too strong, but if we get a weak retest into the level, then we can look for a move. You can either add to your position, or we can look for a move, or you can enter a trade here and look for a move to go higher. So that's one possibility. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So hopefully this is helpful to you, so you can see some of the different ways how you can approach your take profit areas, and your targets. All right. So again, hopefully this is helpful to you, and trade responsibly. All right.